beautiful.
How are you?
I'm fantastic. How are you this morning?
I'm good. I want to welcome everybody. This is the Hopeful Spirit Podcast. We're all about alternative wellness, and today is Cindy Browning.
Yes, hello.
Sacred healing, right?
That's right, yes.
Yeah, and we're going to talk a little bit about what she does and how she's putting her energy out into the community and who she's wanted to connect with.
Yes, finding that soul tribe, right?
Yeah.
Just meeting the energy and the needs of those around us, and just really looking to inspire people to love themselves and find their own space.
Yeah, we had like a little grounding meditation before we started. I actually thought we should have recorded that just for you guys.
Oh, so good, right? I love grounding, just connecting with the earth and the energy, and really setting the intention today for miracles to happen here, even between us and then to those that are watching.
Yeah, so we met kind of, I don't know, divine intervention or divine connection, some spiritual New Age speak.
Absolutely. It was crazy. And again, like once you embrace that true spirituality, the things that begin to happen, that excitement never gets old, right? And it was such divine timing, and just one of those weird things that happen. I'm like, oh, okay, and click on that and click on that, and then here you are and here we are, and it's just been so beautiful.
Yeah. Through electronics too, the bane of my existence. And I say this as I'm speaking to a podcast of people, right? So let's talk a little bit about the things that you're doing within your business. I don't know, start with the spiritual life coaching.
Sure, absolutely. So again, hi, my name is Cindy, and I am the CEO and owner of Sacred Healing, LLC. And it's really neat how my life kind of took this journey. But currently, I am certified as a spiritual life coach. I'm also a certified Reiki master and hypnotherapist, and a certified professional evidential medium. I specialize in trauma, helping people to dig through all of that stuff, whether it's inner childhood trauma, past traumas, mind shifting. I use these modalities to assist people who are really struggling with the traumas in their life, who are looking and longing for something greater, knowing that there's a greater purpose in their life. So these modalities just assist in that process. And it's been a beautiful experience, and I'm looking forward to sharing more of that with you all today.
Sort of like a keyword search, right? You hit on one thing and then it kind of leads you to the thing that you really need to.
Yeah, 100%. And I think what most people would be surprised about is how I got to this, right? Like, how did my spiritual awakening happen? How did these gifts come? How did I know what my calling is? Because honestly, how many of us sit around and say, well, I don't know what my calling is, or what is my calling? I know there's so much more than this corporate world, but what is it, right? Like, we're searching and longing.
Most definitely.
And then how we get there, for me, it happened from severe trauma. That was a catalyst to mine. For other people, it can be other things, but for me, it came from a very dark place.
Yeah, I think that's a lot of people who take on the role of the healer or the practitioner, the facilitator, all come from some trauma mindset. And I think in some way that kind of helps us connect with the people that we're dealing with.
Oh, 100% agree with that. And I think that's why we go through the things that we go through, right? Because they're meant to teach us our own personal spiritual lessons, but then also being able to give back to people from a genuine place of understanding and knowledge. Yeah. That's why I teach, and I know that you embrace this as well, that I am thankful for all the opportunities, all the traumas that have taken place in my life. I'm truly in a place where I can say, I'm grateful for each opportunity, because it led me to this moment in this chair with you. It led me to each moment with each client that I've had that's crossed my path, and for that I'm truly grateful.
Yeah. What is evidential mediumship?
Oh, so I love this question, right? I love this question. So we all have the ability to connect with spirit. I have been able to do that since I was a child, right? Our pretend friends, our make-believe friends, right? So what is an evidential medium? That's my favorite question. So I have the ability to connect with spirit, and spirit will give me evidence, proof, through memories, through descriptions, through age, through how they passed, messages that are specific to you. So spirit will give me this evidence that I can present to you so that they're able to validate who they are to you, right? Which makes it feel better, right? You're like, oh, okay, I know exactly who that is based on this, 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 and this. And I'm able to give messages to you through spirit. A lot of people think that that's just our passed over loved ones, and that's not necessarily true. Being able to connect to the divine, like I'm able to talk to spirit guides, your spirit guides, my spirit guides, to passed over loved ones, ancestors, spirit team, archangels, angels, like whoever shows up, and I'm able to connect with them on the other side.
That's so cool.
Oh, I love it. You know, it's crazy because when I started this spiritual journey, really searching for my calling, I never knew that evidential mediumship would be like my thing, like my jam, like what I was just really love to do, connecting people with their loved ones and their spirit teams. You know, I originally thought, you know, the spiritual life coaching would be my main thing and, you know, helping people. But when I saw the reactions and I saw the healing literally taking place right in front of me, the tears and the purging of joy and connection, closure, guide. When I started to see that, it just fed my soul. And I knew that that was going to be a highlight of my calling. And here we are. It's probably the biggest practice, other than the spiritual life coaching, that I do at this time.
So I do Reiki too, and I'm curious, and I know a lot of you guys have this question, and a lot of us think that we're kind of crazy, right?
Oh my gosh.
Like the first thing that probably was like, oh my God, I'm hearing things. I don't even know what's going on.
Am I losing my mind, right? Yeah, midlife crisis, all of those things.
Whatever it is. So how does that show up for you? I know like all of us kind of receive information in different ways. How does that show up for you?
Absolutely. And I love your questions because they're so important, because so many people get that imposter syndrome because they're not understanding that how they're communicating with spirit is communicating with spirit. For me, how that shows up, it almost sounds like you're having a conversation with yourself in your mind. So it's almost like I feel like I'm talking to myself. I also can smell, like I'll get smells. For example, I had a grandmother come through one time who really enjoyed making biscuits, and let me tell you, her biscuits smelled so good. I also just have this inner knowing that's what I'm supposed to be saying for them, right? Because remember, I'm just the catalyst. In the recent months, I've really honed in on developing hearing, right? Like actually hearing, because that was probably the weaker of all of my senses. And so now I can actually hear like sounds, or I'll hear whispers or things of that nature. I also feel, so like if I'm doing an energetic scan, I may start to feel like a tummy ache, or I'll feel some tightness in my chest if someone's trying to communicate maybe how they're passing. So, you know, I may feel something within my body. But my biggest, loudest way of feeling and connecting with spirit, it literally sounds like I'm having a conversation with myself in my mind, right? Yeah. Which can open us up to that imposter syndrome, because we're like, wait a minute, are these my thoughts? Or
exactly. That was originally what I thought. Because like when I was kind of coming into mine, I was like, I just want to hear, feel, smell, taste, like all this stuff. And when you start to have those things, you're just like, what is, and then you're like, how do you decipher? Like, so I guess my question is, would you say that a person can, and I believe this is true, but you might have a different opinion, can develop these skills? You said you are working on like being able to hear more.
Absolutely. I believe that we all have the ability to utilize all of our senses. It's just like any other skill, right? Some people are better. Let's talk about baseball. Some people are better at pitching. Some people are better at catching. Some people are better at third base. It doesn't mean that everybody doesn't have the ability on that team to play that spot. It's just the skill that we've focused on the most. And in my spiritual journey, I've really wanted to make sure that I'm not just going for what's easy and natural to me, but allowing myself to develop the things that may be uncomfortable or not so easy. So yeah, I believe we can, for skills that maybe aren't our highest level skill, I do believe that we can set the intention and we can practice on just those things, ask for that assistance, and those will come to us. But just like any other muscle, if we don't use it, if we're not practicing it, right?
Oh man, I found that out because I feel like I have spurts of when like I have a bunch of people I'm doing energy work on, and then there's like the lull of it. And then I think in a way that's a chance for me to kind of catch up with myself and really spend time developing better skills and learning more. I actually kind of feel like I'm in one of those states right now.
Yeah.
And I think it's really such a beautiful, like, human experience growth, right?
Oh yeah.
It's so beautiful. And I think what we're doing is kind of opening, like, removing the veil a little bit from people, like the woo woo and the this is
the
evil. Yeah.
Oh man, boy, has that not been a topic, right?
Right.
And let's be honest, like when we first come out publicly in regards to our gifts and things, those are all those programmings that you and I are teaching people to work through, right?
Yes.
Whether it's religious brainwashing, or whether it's environmental, or whether it's just, there's so many factors that play into it. But I'm telling you, we all know we played with our pretend friends when we were kids.
Yeah.
And we're told from a very young age that's what they are, right? So when we come out, it's you're evil, or I've heard, oh, you're going to hell, you don't love God, you're a witch, like all these labels, right?
Yeah.
Label. Like, no, I am Cindy.
Yeah.
You know, but that was a challenge for me.
Oh yeah. Even like in yoga, it's people think that meditating kind of opens you up to that, and I'm intention based too, so I feel like if you intend to pull those negative and low vibrations in, then you will. But if you're all about, you know, high vibes, helping people, pure love, pure intentions, then you won't be tapping into those.
Absolutely.
We all have that capability too, and especially now, like in the holiday season, people tend to kind of dip into those more depressive and low vibrations. So it's just important to maintain being grounded, like we did.
Yes.
So these are all tools that you can learn from somebody like Cindy. You know, she's very good at figuring out and helping people through those things.
Absolutely. And that's the beauty of spiritual life coaching, right? Because you're not having to constantly come back. Like our goal, like we're not some like magic God. We're like, we're here to show you how you can embrace your own inner power, your own things, so that you can get to those. We're just the assistants. We're the catalysts. We're here to help that. Teaching you how to shield and protect yourself from low vibrational energies, how to reprogram the mind that has been wired. This is going to be a shocker, but 95% of our thoughts come from our subconscious. That means that pre-wired, kind of that autopilot thinking, 95% of those thoughts are subconscious. So we teach you how to utilize that 5% of conscious thinking to rewire the old story in the subconscious, so that you're creating and seeing around you the things that you desire and not the things that you don't.
Yeah, I think the shielding part's important too, because you know, you said before, we all have this ability to feel and sense things. And with that perception, we often, if we're not aware or acknowledge that's there, we may be experiencing things in our lives that are not our shit, basically. Yeah. This is not our shit. And so we take on other people's stuff. And through that, we can develop physical or manifest physical issues, mental health issues, all these things. And I guess one of the things that we shine a light on too is like really understanding your intuition.
Trusting your intuition.
And knowing, you know, recognizing those symbols.
Oh, absolutely. And, you just said some super key words, awareness.
Yeah.
Right? Bringing our awareness to the fact that, wait a minute, this doesn't belong to me. Oh, wait, I have the right to allow what comes in and what doesn't. So
Yes.
I'm not going to do that anymore.
Yes.
I learned that early on in my healing journey when I was exercising. Like, for example, you know how I said sometimes I'll feel like an upset stomach. Mm-hmm. And I would hold on to this upset stomach all day long. Mm-hmm. Why? Because when I brought my awareness to it, I owned that as mine, mm-hmm. that it belonged to me. Mm-hmm. When I was able to start shifting that and being like, wait, that doesn't belong to me. That's just symbolic, right? Mm-hmm. That's just something that I'm being shown for this person. Mm-hmm. It was so much easier to release and let go of, and I didn't carry that with me. And it's the same thing with that negative energy that you're talking about. As empaths, when we're sitting in a room full of our friends and family at Thanksgiving and Christmas and that holiday cheer, we as empaths, we feel that. Mm-hmm. We sense those things. So like she said, I love this, bringing your awareness to the fact that that's who we are. We are naturally prone to that, but there are things that we can do where we don't have to shake hands with it and then allow that to become part of our energetic field. But setting that intention and bringing our awareness to the fact that we do have the power to say, you know what, that belongs to you. When I feel that, you know what I'm going to do? Yeah. I'm going to alchemize that, and I'm going to turn that into love and light and joy and laughter, and I'm going to send that back to you healed. Mm-hmm. So now we're not only raising our individual vibrations, but we're assisting everybody else in the process because we're sending back what belongs to them healed.
Yeah. That was a big experiment I did when I first started coming into like reflecting that energy.
Yeah.
Because we all know, we feel like you've walked into a room and you're just like, it's so heavy here, or there's a person you don't want to be around because you know mm-hmm. that their energy just drains you, right? Mm-hmm. So once you become aware, right, you can start to reflect that energy, and like she says, alchemize it and send it back with love. And so we're basically like helping them start their process. A lot of times, and this is what I experience, is those people won't want to be around you because you're not feeding that energy that they're wanting. This looks like gossip. This looks like trying to force their emotional baggage on you. Mm-hmm. And it's a very powerful shift. Mm-hmm. It's a very powerful shift in ourselves to hold that. We are space holders.
That's right.
And so it's important to recognize that, maintain that, and also ground, mm-hmm. and not hold on to y'all stuff either. So mm-hmm. we're not healers. That's a big thing I want people to understand. We are basically channels or space holders. There's a lot of new age language.
I know. And, we do get labeled, right? And because what else do we call ourselves? But we aren't doing the healing.
Right.
You're doing the healing. We are just simply assisting you at finding your own power, yes. finding your own strength, helping guide you to the places that need to be healed, right? Mm-hmm. And so, that kind of healers, because again,
I've
labels,
never liked
right?
That label,
we just love labels. Humans love labels, but it kind of puts us on a pedestal. And I don't know about y'all, but as an empath, that feels icky. Like, I don't want to be on a pedestal. I want to be here to help you. I want you to embrace your power. And, you brought up those people tend to be like, ugh, right? Like at Thanksgivings or whatever it is, right? They're like, wait a minute, because of that shift that she was talking about earlier. And, science says that water attracts water at its own level. So naturally, if you're vibrating high, if you're shielding yourself, if you're protecting yourself, if you're embracing your power, this lower energy, this lower vibration is also, they're going to feel that too. They're going to sense that too. And they're going to be like, I think I'll head over here to the water station, or I'm going to find somebody that's willing to engage in this.
It's a pretty interesting feeling, like even from yourself, because coming from old patterns and old ways of thinking, I actually had an experience recently where I was like, before I would have slapped the shit out of somebody. I would have beat them up. Yeah. But I was able to recognize my feelings and maintain composure and act. And that actually felt really good and empowering to me, like to not feed into that.
Absolutely.
So, it's good stuff. It's a lot of good stuff.
It is a lot of good stuff. And I think there's so many different areas to the spectrum here on how we all respond to trauma or stress when we're outside that threshold of tolerance. You know, for her, it could be aggression. You're like, hey, like I'm going to get in your face. And I have experienced those in life myself. But I tend to be the one that's the people pleaser, compromising my own belief systems or compromising what I really want to do because I want to please you. Isolating, shutting down, just not being that authentic self, you know? And that
I see so many clients that are just, they're not living their own life. Their truth, and you know that develops into dis-ease in the body. A lot of throat issues, cancers. A lot of cancers develop from that because you're holding, and not really living your truth. It feels so different.
Absolutely,
it feels very freeing. I love it, and it actually helps you to become more flexible.
Absolutely. Flexible with yourself and with others.
Everybody.
It really allows you to live and let live.
Not be so hard all the time.
Yeah, and you're not having to force something down someone's throat or trying to fix people, right?
Yeah.
Because it's their journey, right? It allows them to do what they want to do. But stored trauma is so unhealthy for us. Like she said, it causes disease. There's been current studies that have come out all over the place that are linking things like MS and Alzheimer's to trauma, stored trauma, to the point where the nervous system is like, I can't do this anymore, and it turns on itself. Healing trauma is important on all the levels, physical, spiritual, mental, right? Like getting that out and bringing our awareness to it and healing it really allows us to embrace our authentic self and allow other people to be authentically them on whatever journey it is that they chose.
I love that you're working with people that have this kind of trauma, because I think sometimes, you know, they exhaust all the other traditional resources, right? They may have gone to the doctor for pain and they can't find the source of it.
Sure.
They may have gone to the psychiatrist or the therapist and they're not receiving answers. And you know, this is what we talk about, alternative wellness. There are other ways to do things, and they may not seem the norm. And I think it's important to become an educated consumer, and that's part of the reason why I do this, because I want people to get to know you guys, see what you're doing, and be able to share that information, because everybody's going to be, whoever needs to see this video will see it and want to work with you, and we are connected in that like universal,
that collective energy.
Yes,
absolutely.
How can we just backtrack a little bit? You said you had a lot of heavy trauma. How did you come into knowing, or like what was that moment where you're just like, this is the thing? Like, was it a slow process, or was it like a, here you go, this is it, lady?
It was a here you go, this is it, lady. But you have to understand, for me, I had repeated trauma cycles for so long within narcissistic relationships, starting from childhood. And there were so many. I had actually been diagnosed at one point with complex post-traumatic stress syndrome, which is that it's stacked trauma. And one thing that I found within traditional therapies, which I have done them all, I'm a military veteran, so I had that on top of it, you know, doing that kind of practice and their way of healing. But what I found is, like, when they were digging up these old traumas, it was just re-traumatizing me.
Yes.
Like, it was so unnecessary to have to remember every single trauma in order to heal. But for me, it was a quick, I'll never forget it. It was, close to 2 years ago now. I was literally laying in the bathroom floor at my corporate job, curled up in a ball. I had just been brutally discarded by my then narcissist. And all the years of trauma hit me. I couldn't eat. I couldn't sleep. all I could do was scream and cry. I was lost. Financially, I had been destroyed. Emotionally, I had been destroyed. Like, I had nothing left. And I was curled up in this ball. I'll never forget it. I was laying there curled up on the bathroom floor at my job. And I remember just crying out to God, okay? And I was just like, there's got to be something more than this. I'm exhausted. I'm tired. And I remember saying the words, I'll do whatever it takes. I'll do whatever it takes to heal. I don't want to live this life anymore. And like a light switch, I remember feeling all them pretend friends like, and I felt them come in, and instantly, it was almost like I heard them say to me, it's about damn time that you asked for our help and our assistance. I instantly felt so safe. I quit crying. I stood up off that floor, and I felt so empowered. And girl, it has been a roller coaster ever since. Like, I'm hearing spirits, I'm talking to dead people, which, by the way, they hate that because they're alive, okay? But, you know, I'm talking to spirit. Like, I'm experiencing life in a whole new way. Like you said earlier, I started seeing things on social media because we all have this collective energy, and now I was ready. I was in a different energetic field. So I start seeing all this stuff on how to manifest, how to heal, and I'm like, okay. So I jumped 10 toes deep into that, and through my healing, through the most traumatic event of my life, I found my calling and my purpose. I knew that if I could do it, right? Like, I went from being completely broke, emotionally destroyed, I had nothing left in me, to 6 months later, owning my own home, my credit, and that's a whole podcast in and of itself. My credit score completely restored. Emotionally, I could honestly say that I loved myself. I no longer needed an outside source, person, place, or thing to fill myself. I could genuinely look in the mirror and say, I love myself. And then I was ready to give away, because you can't give away what you don't have. So it was in that moment that I knew my calling. So once I took the time, because I really took my time on myself, I didn't want to recreate the chaos, again, on social media. And I came across this post on getting healing certifications and spiritual guidance. So I took my time and I got my certifications as a spiritual life coach. I'm an intuitive Reiki master, which is a little bit different than traditional Reiki. They're all great. Like, Reiki is just amazing across the board. Hypnotherapy, and then I got my certified as a professional evidential medium. And girl, I've been just riding this train ever since. Yeah. It just feels so good.
I can feel it when we talked on the phone the very first time. I was just like, I already love you. Like,
I know, right? There's just that instant connection. When you meet your soul tribe, you just know. It just feels, it's the same as when you run across that narc. Let's just be honest. We get that initial feeling, but we ignore it, or we make excuses, or we enable, or we try to fix it. And it's the same on the opposite side, though. When you start feeling good about yourself and attracting those people to you, like, I knew instantly on the phone, there was just a connection. It was my sister, my soul tribe. Like, I knew that we were going to do great things together for ourselves and for others.
Oh man, I don't know why this is coming up now, but so I've experienced people who, let's dive a little bit into the paranormal, just a little bit.
Sure.
So I feel like people can project their energy and create entities or attract those entities. What do you think about what they would call a poltergeist, or an energy within your space? Because I know it follows people around. Have you experienced, that's a better question. Have you experienced anyone who was having these issues and they felt like very paranoid? They always things, it's at that low vibration. These things are always happening to me, like they're in that victim mentality, but they're also projecting it outside of their body.
Yeah, so I do run into a lot of that, and this is a great topic. And for me, I've always set the intention, right, that only good, love, and light can come to me, right? I want to attract a very specific person. Now, I do believe that we are the co-creators of our existence, and I do believe that we can create good and we can create opportunities. I don't like to use the other word, but for the podcast's sake, bad, right? Because they're all opportunities. In regards to the paranormal, have I seen things of that nature? Yes, but I tend to lean towards the mind, right? And so really helping people to shift that mindset, releasing those, healing them, finding them, discarnates energies, soul fragments, things of that nature, and helping them to get rid of those. But I don't sit on that. If that it's kind of like everybody has their own thing. That's just not my expertise.
No, I totally get that. I find like everybody's gifts are a little bit different.
Yes.
Like you mentioned Reiki, you're like, all the Reikis are great, and I'm like, yes, every Reiki, even acupuncture,
absolutely,
I've received. I've had different experiences with the people that are the facilitators, or the space that I'm in, or the place that I'm in when in my own like journey. And that can show up in different ways.
Yep. And I have friends and I have people that work in just that field, and they're great at it and they love it and it doesn't affect them. So I think that's just embracing, again, allowing the freedom for everybody to do what they're called to do and what brings them joy and happiness. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So what else? Tell me what else you want to talk about.
Oh my gosh, there's just, we could sit here all day and just chat about things. But for me, it's important that I stress to those that are watching is that healing is possible. It doesn't matter how far down that you feel that you are. Feelings aren't facts, but they're valid to you. And I want you to feel today like you're not alone. Like you're sitting amongst two people here who are probably very different, yet so alike and so aligned and able to help more because of our differences, but also because of our similarities. You aren't alone. If you're searching, if you're watching this podcast, if you're listening, and something that we say, you feel that little twinge in your soul, or you feel that hope or whatever, follow that intuition, listen, reach out, get the help, do something different, because the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results. And the spirit world is real, and that doesn't make you evil or bad, no matter what practice you're working with. Like, it's real. Spirit is here. God is here. They're here. What do you want to do with that to impact your life? Do you want to stay in that same mentality that of closed-mindedness, of that lack mindset, repeating cycles after cycles, or do you want to say, you know what? Let me try this. Let me see. Maybe something different. Don't put the lenses down of that judgmental stuff, because we're good people. We're good people, and we love people, and we're here to help and to assist.
Yeah. Yeah, I like the thought process of experiencing. We are just a blink in the eye of the earth,
the universe, right?
We are just enjoy it while you're here, and some of that is having experiences and connecting with people that you feel with your gut, like this is the right person to hang out with. Maybe you don't have to expect anything. That's another thing I like to tell people is like, don't ever expect a magical moment, or because it'll end up showing up completely different than what you think, right?
Yeah, embrace your power, set the intention, make it happen.
Yeah. So you're basically calling what you want in your life. And,
Absolutely.
you know, vibration, words are very powerful. They are the creation of your reality. So when you say something,
watch your
you're
words,
creating
people.
it.
Yes.
You're creating it. And so, you know, just get out there and experience things. I know there are some of you guys that are, this is really resonating with. So where can they find you? Like, what's the best way, and how do you like conduct a session with somebody?
So if you don't mind, I want to back up to something super before I go there that you said about the power of words. One thing that I find within the spiritual community, and I think we've actually been chatted about this, is affirmations, words are so important, right? Now, we don't want to teach toxic positivity where you're just saying, I am pretty all day long and just expect to wake up one day and be like, oh, I'm beautiful. Like, there's so much more to it than just affirmations. But what I want to bring your attention here to is a lot of times in the spiritual community, we get stuck on the I am, right? Which is a very powerful statement because it addresses the root chakra. But what I want to challenge you with today, guys, if you are doing those affirmations, expand them to all of your chakras. Don't just stay stuck in the root. Again, powerful, but how much more powerful if you invite all of the energetic field. So instead of I am beautiful, it can be I am beautiful. I feel beautiful. I know that beauty exists in me and all around me. I see beauty in all things, right? Do you see how we're now incorporating all the energetic field, right? We're not just limiting ourselves to the root chakra. Just a little food for thought there within the community, because I know when I first started, it was I am, right?
Yeah.
So to your next question is, how do you find me? Okay. How do you find me? So I have a website. It's healingwithcindy.com. You're more than welcome to go there, check out some of my services, some of the offerings and things that I do. I also have social media platforms. I have Facebook, which is Sacred Healing LLC. Feel free to like the page there. On TikTok, I am Sacred Healing 3333. And Instagram, it is the same thing, sacred_healing 3333. You can connect with me on any of those platforms. Feel free to email me at cindy@healingwithcindy.com to talk about any of the modalities that I use to assist you in becoming your greatest and highest self.
Yeah, she's also up here. Like, if you're in Houston, she's here.
Yeah.
You can see her in person.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, we have this she is hosting this beautiful market, which I'm privileged to be a part of this weekend. We're going to be set up right here live. You can book your sessions with me live. There's going to be other great vendors that you can book with if they resonate with you. We're going to have, she's going to have an herbalist here. You can have private sessions here with that as well. Gosh, there's just so many ways.
Yeah.
So many things happening right now. Like, I just finished writing my first book. I'm co-authoring a book, and I have that out to the editors, and I'm excited about that releasing. There's just so many great things, and I can't wait to see where all of this is going to go. By the way, this is a beautiful facility, guys. I don't know if you're in the local area and you have not visited this place. You've got to come check it out, because the energy work that she has done in here is truly impeccable. Like, the energy flow is just beautiful. It's wide open space, but yet there's private spaces where you can go and step aside and do what you need to do. So I encourage you, if you are local, come out here. Just come spend 5 minutes in here and you won't want to leave.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Well, I like to close out the podcast interview. Is there any other messages? I know you had a beautiful message right before this, but is there anything else you want to put out?
You know, I think the strongest message for me that I want to know is that you are so loved. You are loved by a great big universe, and that there are so many things that are here to support you. And if you're struggling today and you just can't see the how, borrow my faith. Borrow Hope's faith. Borrow us for a minute and take that first step, whatever that looks like for you. don't be afraid. Let this be Spirit's message to you. There's a reason you're watching us today. Take that first step in your healing journey, whatever that looks like, and know that there is peace and love on the other side of whatever you're going through in this moment, and that you are so loved, so embraced, and that there are people who understand you more than you would ever know, because you would probably be quite surprised if we went into the details of our lives and our traumas, how parallel they are to yours. So just find that courage. And if you don't have it, borrow ours for the day, because you are loved. You can do this. And there is hope on the other side of healing.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it. It was so awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you for joining me today. If you like this podcast and would like to hear others like this, don't forget to subscribe or like or share with your friends. Until next time, be love and namaste.